being recorded, it's letting me know.
You know, I imagine they do that for legal reasons, right?
Yeah. So I can't say stuff like, you know, make a joke about, you know,
make a racist joke as a customer service rep.
Yeah,
circumstances demand it. You know,
I can't make a fat joke and then have you record it and send it out without me knowing. I need to know before you blackmail me.
Well, I think it's also because they, you know, what they say on the customer service shit is like, you know, this call is being monitored for training purposes. No, it's not. It's being monitored for legal reasons in case anyone sues you.
Yeah.
I am sure no one's ever reviewed a customer service. I can guarantee you, if you've ever rated a product, that went into the fucking void. I mean, like,
yeah.
You know, like, because think about it. Like, you've seen Yelp reviews. Motherfuckers just stuff their Yelp reviews with 5 stars. Like, they pay companies to do that, you know, and then you could pay companies to trash your competitor on Yelp.
Exactly. Nothing's real anymore. That's what we need to just come to terms with.
Exactly. And like, it's like, how could you possibly trust any rating system when you can pay Google for the advertisement on it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like you can pay to have your, like, if you Google the name of your company, it could be the first, you know, whatever, you know, Tim's Tile Company, right? Fucking, you search tile company and Tim's comes up. You can pay Google to go first in that search to come up number 1 on the page. So who gives a fuck about any rating that you have? I mean, obviously, if you could just pay to put yourself at the top of the fucking internet, every rating, therefore, I question whether or not it was bought or sold or legit. You know, like, that's why, like, these little micro bloggers have a career now. Like, you know, like if you're an influencer, like, oh, if so and so backs this product, then it must be a good product. You know, like, so people sort of weigh heavy on that shit.
You know what? I like that we started out and you were immediately a little angry and just right into the vibe. You know, I appreciate it.
I felt too happy in my last few episodes when I was in studio. Now that I'm home, I just got back from, I had a vacation, so I had a short work week. I was out in the woods. You know, I had time to think, and it renewed some of my hatreds of society and the way we behave.
I like that. Usually people are like, oh, it's nice to get away, forget about everything. You're like, no, I was left with my thoughts and now I'm mad at everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is nice to go out there, but you are left with your thoughts, and it just confirms that we're all human piles of garbage, and we're ruining the planet and killing ourselves. But
yeah,
you know,
typical Wednesday.
Not that I care anyway. Let me show. Welcome to the Ready Set Blow podcast, episode 321, old school, back on Zoom with my homeboy Matt P. Brown. Back in Boston.
Yeah, dude.
Long time in the making. You're my regular, I like to say, my Al Roker.
Yeah, man.
For those old enough to remember Conan O'Brien when he was still on fucking network TV, he started out on NBC, and you know, the Today Show studios were right across the hall, and he became friendly with Al Roker. And anytime he had guest fallout, which it happened a lot in his first 2 seasons, because no one knew who he was, Al Roker would pop by. So I think Al Roker did like 18 appearances in like in like 3 years, something like that. Because anytime he had fallout, and it didn't matter which guest it was. Like, sometimes it's the lead guest would fall out, so he'd bring Al Roker out as a lead guest. Sometimes the second guest would fall out, and he'd bring Al Roker out as a second guest. So so Al made a lot of appearances on the show.
I like the idea that like P. Diddy was supposed to be on, and then he canceled, and the substitute was Al Roker.
Yeah, and this is when Al Roker was fat. So a fat black weatherman comes out. It's like, oh, we're expecting RuPaul. Oh, she canceled. She has a better. She's going to do Letterman. All right, bring out the fat black weatherman.
That's dude. Conan, I think, is getting more respect now than he did like his whole career.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's a genius.
Well, I mean, he's a likable guy, and honestly, I've heard Jay Leno's a likable guy, but just because of all like the TV drama about, you know, Jay getting the spot from Letterman to begin with,
right,
from Carson, and then the back and forth between him and Conan, like, it kind of smeared Jay Leno, who's just a good negotiator. I mean, like, obviously he didn't want to have it that, you know, that publicly messy, but, you know, I mean, he was number one, and he went out as number one, so I mean, you know, it's not like he shit the bed and they had to fire him. I mean, he was still the highest in the ratings. But yeah, Conan navigated that well. That little tour he did, you know, the move to TBS where he could be a little bit more fucking raunchy, back to where, like, what he started out at midnight. He
Yeah.
and he kept that 40 million that NBC owed him. Yes. So
Wow.
so
That'd be nice.
they paid him a fucking heap to quit. So
You know, I yeah, I think Conan is really great and is so funny. And I like that he would take risks all the time for comedy. And if there was a comic or someone on there, he always made it good too, you know?
Oh yeah, well I remember, dude. He used to do like he'd have hot chicks come out, and certain girls, he would like over exaggerate, and like flirt with them and be over the top. But you think about it, he pulling that shit now, man. I mean, I loved those bits then, because it was kind of funny. Like, oh, this lanky dorky guy with red hair, was being goofy and hitting on these chicks, and they were receiving well, and it's obviously mostly an acting. Fucking Conan was married, but you couldn't pull that off now, because he's like he's like wiggling his face, looking at their tits, like that would never fly today.
I don't know, man. I think shit is starting to shift again because I feel like the world went cuckoo and bananas, which is obvious.
Yeah. We've talked about that, but I think you have to have. I mean, it's weird. Like I think the people are all right, or like are getting looser about it. The institutions are taking it on now. Like people aren't as tight as corporations are about messaging right now.
Mm-hmm.
At one point they were forcing the corporations to tighten up their act. Now people are like, all right, you did it. It's good enough, and they're going hard in the paint on the woke thing. Like, dude, the fucking Wendy's, they changed their logo for a day or whatever because
to what, Bradley's or something?
No. So Wendy, Wendy's like a little girl with the fucking red hair on the Wendy's logo.
Yeah.
There was a journalist who worked for some TV network or whatever. A female, she's like in mid late 50s, something like that, and she'd been with them for like 30 years with this network, and they recently fired her, saying that she kind of aged out because she let her hair go back to her natural gray during the pandemic. She just left it, and like, oh, she looks too old, so we gotta move on from her. Obviously, the internet and the world and everyone was right. I mean, this woman's a good journalist. Who gives a shit what she looks like? Raised to her side, and Wendy's, corporate Wendy's changed their logo. The Wendy girl changed her hair to gray for a bit, and I'm like, all right, first of all, that's a weak fucking symbol that like we're with women. Like, what did that do, Wendy?
Yeah, exactly.
It was
a lot of it's self-serving.
It was a tweet. But also like now, like I said, now corporations like coming to the rescue. Like whereas before, drag them kicking and screaming. Do you think the NFL wanted to deal with any of this fucking race shit? Like they just wanted to play football. They got dragged into that kicking and screaming. Now, like the corporations are out on front. And it's weird. It's like the way corporations deal with trying to be progressive just is so cringeworthy. Every February they just put, all of a sudden they're all about black people, and then every fucking June they're all about gay people. It's like no, you're not. That's why I at least respect Chick-fil-A. At least they say, yeah, we're not down with it. We're fucking closed on Sunday. It's on some level, at least they have an ethos that they stick to. Whereas every other corporation, their ethos is whatever the fuck the consumer feels like they should tell what they think the consumer wants at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like at least what Chick-fil-A stands for. Every minute, McDonald's corporate fucking position can change on a position depending on what they think will sell more burgers.
Right. But I do think that we're going to start to see some of that changing as well, because like the common line through all this shit, no matter what your opinion is or whatever, is that people should just kind of be accepted for who they are. And yeah, it was overkill with how it all came about and was annoying and all that shit. But like, that's the gist of it. And I think it will level itself back out. And like, look at Netflix now. They lost like
80% of their stock price. They'll change your fucking tune.
But look at who they just gave. They just gave Tim Dillon and Sam Morril a special. That would not have happened even a year ago, in my opinion. And I think people are coming back around to, that's a joke, not a statement.
But that's also a money thing too. Like Netflix is in desperate need of more content because they're getting stale. And those guys have an audience. They're not taking a shot on old Randy Valerio. Those guys come. I mean, Tim Dillon's making $250,000 a month on Patreon alone,
right?
From Patreon subscribers. at like $5. So do the math. It's like a fucking, he's got 50,000 people paying him on that. So if they want to pay for him on that, they'll be able to buy Netflix to see his next special. Of course they would. So they're doing that from a money standpoint too.
Well, just like everything's from a money standpoint.
Just like Andrew Schultz, like, I'm not going to be on Netflix, and then Netflix threw a bag of money on him, and he's like, yeah, I'll be on Netflix, and now he's off Netflix again. He's going back and forth, but whatever. If for them, it's if it makes dollars, it makes sense. But now they've gone to the place that corporations have just gone further than the people even care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
Like they're trying to stand out with this fucking thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just overkill, and I think that will stop because, like, when you talk about money, like all the networks and stuff are doing that too. Like they went totally the other direction, and now that's fizzling out because, like, oh yeah, like you should be able to cast just whoever's best for the role, no matter their race, whatever.
Oh my God,
I think they're realizing it now. Like, let's create good content and get the best person for it, no matter what they look like. It just took everyone fucking 5 years to chill.
Yeah, but there is one area, and you as a big comedy buff and a big comedy movie guy, because I know that's how you got into this business. That's where your love started, with Adam Sandler and all that stuff. I feel like you couldn't remake any comedy made before 2021 today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so famously, Jamie Foxx, in his directorial debut, directed a comedy movie that he wrote, with some great writers. It was going to be like him, and I know that I forget, like he had like a fucking all-star cast on this movie, and it's filmed, it's shot, it's completely done. He finished his movie in like 2017, but he had Robert Downey Jr. He's like, yo, I love the idea of you playing a black guy in Tropic Thunder. Can you come play a Mexican guy in my movie? And he did. But because of that, he's like, yeah, I can't do it because, no movie studio wants to put it out. No distributor wants to be Netflix or, an actual theater distributor wants to distribute it because I have a white guy playing a Mexican guy. So it's just got to sit there until people are ready for it, which will be awesome. I feel like someday that movie, someday, the way the world works now, Netflix will be like, content, we'll put it out, Jamie. I mean, it's good, but it's going to be like a movie filmed, before shit was woke. So it's going to be like the one comedy that's sort of pre-woke that's finally going to break through, but it's on the shelf right now because they don't want that. Like, if you like, they have to get a trans person to play trans, a black person to play a black person. It's like, well, yeah, to a point, like it's. I mean, like Rob Schneider gets shit, and he's actually half Filipino. It's like, like when he plays, like, like back in the day, we'd like, play a goofy Asian guy on SNL. It's like, but I am Asian.
I get.
Because I don't look Asian to you doesn't mean I'm not Asian. Like, I'm not Asian enough for this role. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like
Hollywood, man.
Although Hollywood is famous for going overboard. The Last Samurai's Tom Cruise. Fucking Dances with Wolves. It's Kevin Costner. So they do have a weird thing about that, but
it's I don't know. All this stuff when it first was all happening and everything really drove me nuts. And I just don't care anymore because I feel like
I hardly think about it too.
I just feel like good art will always be good art. And if people want to get a pat on the back for going, this person hates people with 2 left feet and freak out about that, like, let them, because at the end of the day, 99.9% of people know that this is a joke or this is art or a film or whatever.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
I will tell you though, I have watched. I was talking about it a little bit on Jeff's podcast last week. Shout out to Jeff Dye. I was on the Jeff Dye podcast. If you want to hear that, go check him out. Jeff Dye podcast, Jeff Dye Friendship podcast. We were in a hotel in St. Louis and we caught about a half an hour of Saturday Night Fever. Have you seen this movie?
Saturday Night Fever with
Travolta.
Travolta. I watched that movie probably when I was like 5 years old, and that was
watch it
the
again.
Last time.
Watch it again now, and it is. I mean, he's
in like the gray sweatsuit dancing and shit, right?
That's the second one, but even this one, he's got a little gray sweatsuit on, I think, at some point. But it's original. John Travolta's fucking 19, 20 years old. This is a breakthrough movie, and it is just laden with homophobia and sexism and race. I mean, it is unbelievable. But that was of the time, and wow. And it's like it's just so like you're so like we're so attuned to it now that it's just shocking to watch a movie where they just fucking lay it out there like that. You know?
Right.
It's like,
but
wow.
that's the perfect example of Hollywood and why like everything's fake from Hollywood, not from like a human being, because they were doing that. That's where the money was. And then all of a sudden it went crazy. So they're like, let's be super woke.
Yeah, I mean, that was the 70s. That was, you know, everyone was on cocaine and fucking around in the disco. That's what it was about.
Hollywood doesn't care. They want the money, but human beings, I think, actually can care and go, let's just all be people, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. But that also, you mentioned that too. Like, you do have to accept people, you know, for who they are. But I mean, or no, for what they are, but you don't necessarily have to accept them for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, it happened again. They were talking about Lizzo at the VMAs and shit. Like, you know, like, yeah, of course I can't, you know, I will never make fun of her race, but I wouldn't sit there and say she's of good health. You know, like, there's a reality. There's like a tinge of reality. Like, all right, you know, like, like, I don't accept every flaw about I'm working on them. You know, like, that's a fucking thrust of your podcast. I'm working on it. Like, you have to accept me. I am a man. I am this. I'm that. You know, and that's just, I was born this way. But I mean, like, if you're an asshole, you can kind of work on that. You know, like if you're not a good father, if you're out of shape, if you're, you know, whatever you have addiction, whatever fucking ailments you have, whatever, you know, ticks that you have in your life that are hindering you from being more complete and more, you know, content in your life. You can work on those. We don't have to like accept your flaws too. You know, like,
that's my favorite shit, dude. It makes me laugh all the time when they're like, when there's a girl that's a bitch, okay, and they're like, what do you mean? Stephanie just speaks her mind. And it's like, no. That's a cop out. She's a fucking bitch. Like, that's and then the same thing with the guy who's like the douche and like always has to fight. Like, dude, he's just like an alpha. You're like, no, that's a douchebag. That is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just because you're black doesn't mean you can't be an asshole. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't be rude. Just because you're this doesn't mean you can't be like. It's a weird, like, people think that like, oh, you know, who you are gets to excuse some bad behavior. It's like, no. Like, you can't, you know, you can't do that. I was talking about it last week. I had my roommate on. My roommate Braxton, great guy. He's a gay guy, and I was telling him about that. Like, in the gay community, gay guys can get away with saying some really mean shit to chicks that straight guys could. You know, like, like, and just because they get away with it doesn't make it right. You know, like,
You also just get to touch their tits willy-nilly.
If I called a woman a fat heifer, I would be fucking drawn and quartered, you know, as a straight man. But a gay guy could just fucking trash her. It's like, oh, he's sassy. That's he's a fucking asshole. You shouldn't do that to people. You know? You know?
That's great. Yeah, that's fucking. Yeah, you can always see that. Like, yeah, no, you hit that. They also get to touch their tits all the time, which is exciting.
I mean, dude, that's why I was saying to Braxton, man, I feel like I should just come out as gay so I can get all the benefits of it. You know, and just be closeted homosexual, Randy. You know, not like not go like I'm gay inside, but I just can't.
Oh, we know
the act. You know, so I could trash women and grab their boobs and no one thinks I'm an asshole.
Can we break this down real quick? Okay.
That someone's going to clip just that part, and it's going to cost me a career in about 4 years' time, I'm sure.
What I hate is when people say, "Are you a tit man or an ass man, or what do you prefer?" Both is my answer. I hate the pick one. No, it's a gift. Yeah, let me see them titties.
Some guys do prefer one to the other. Some guys do prefer one to the other. But there's a lot of guys that just happen to be there. You know, like,
exactly.
Like what? Yeah, whatever you got. Like, if you have great tits, I'm going to focus on the titties.
Exactly.
I'm going to focus on the ass. If you got both, I'm a pig in shit.
Call me a piece of shit, but I really appreciate the female form. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if guys, we had something more than just like our dick. Like, if we had like chestnuts or something.
We do. It's called pecs. You fucking do a
chestnuts.
Do a push-up, Maddie.
Hilarious. If we had chestnuts or something here, I feel like a girl would be like, "You more of a chestnut guy, or do you like?"
They've done studies like that, like on what women look at when they see a man for the first time, and men as tits and ass. No, they look at their chest, their biceps, There's like they look for a ratio in our body the same way we do them. Like, we look at the tits in their ass, and that's a ratio that creates a ratio that means she's fertile in our lizard fucking base human brain. And they do the same thing, like, oh, he's broad shouldered and tall. That's why they like tall. It usually means you're well fed.
Yeah,
shit like that. Like that's why they like strong guys. I mean, if he's strong, it means he's eating. It's a very primal thing. But there's a question for you. I posed that to the internet, and I was curious of your take. What's the appropriate amount of time to look at a girl's tits tastefully? Like when you see it, like when you take a glance, like is it 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds? Like what is it?
8 seconds. That's crazy. That's literally insane.
What's a tasteful amount of time to stare at a girl's tits?
Well, I think it's all on the situation. Okay. Like if you're just like chilling and say you're at a gym or something and some girl
the gym's a tough one
in a sports bra and you could give it like a quick, like, oh yeah, like a 1 Mississippi solid. Okay. And then you can kind of check back later for maybe 2 Mississippi. But I mean, anything over that, like you're a creep.
Really?
Turns into creep.
You don't think you can get to a 3 count?
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. I felt awkward just looking at my wall that long, dude. That was too much of a commitment. That is way too long. Oh, that was so intimate. Oh.
No,
I couldn't do it. 3 Mississippi. Holy crap. You can like get married and divorced in that time. That is too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and do you look away if you get caught?
I feel like I very rarely get caught because like I don't want to be I don't want to be a dick. Like I want to, like, there's appreciation. Like, but that's also the thing. It depends on like the mood and the vibe or like where you are, whatever. Because if you're like looking and then they see you smile, like sometimes like you just both go on with your life.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, so it happens less to you because you're a 1 Mississippi guy, but obviously
it must. Yeah,
Randy the creep over here with his 3 Mississippi. Sorry. Look, titties looking. So, did you get high before the podcast?
I swallowed.
Cum.
Yeah, my coffee wrong, and I've been coughing since.
Sorry, everybody. At 3 Mississippi, I'm probably looking a little tough, but yeah, I think the move is just to smile and nod and move on. Like if you do the quick start, you look guilty. That's a guilty fucking. Then you become a creep. If you just hey, and you move on.
Well, have you ever caught a girl staring at your junk?
No. Because God, I'm oblivious. Like, why would I? I mean, I've noticed girls noticing me at like a bar and stuff like that, but never just staring at my dick. Because I one, they're more slick than we are. I mean, we're fucking oafs.
That's because they won Mississippi, that shit.
Yeah, but two, like guys don't think it's happening. It's like they're not paying attention for it. Like I'm not like
right.
Like I'm more looking for eye contact because that means and then you could smile at her. She smiles back. It's like, all right, we got something going over here. Like this, that's a first green light. The eye contact. But if she's looking down at my dick, like I think she's looking at her own feet. Or worse yet, my cheap shoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. No, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I'll 1 to 2 Mississippi. Be respectful, show your appreciation, go on with your day.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stretch it out to 5 Mississippi. I think we got to change the rules around here a little bit.
That's long, bro. 5 Mississippi.
I mean, why would have God made tits if not for us to admire them?
Dude, people can chug a beer.
I'm not, I'm just, fucking.
So long.
Think about it. Like how long do you look at a puppy when a puppy walks by in the street? That's how long you should be able to look at titties and ass.
I don't know. And you should be able to go up and touch and go, oh, he's a cutie too. Oh, you're a good girl.
That would be awesome. If you could go play with tits and ass like it was a puppy.
And you're like, what's its name?
Can I touch your tits? What's its name?
Yeah.
What's its name?
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Cute. Yeah.
In this day and age, boy or girl?
Yeah. Oh my God. Really? Yeah. How old are they? Exactly. They're like, I just got the 3 months. Thank you for noticing.
Oh no. Hopefully, hopefully it's a boob job.
That's what I was talking about. Don't make a precious boob job joke a pedophile joke. Don't mix the worst thing with the best thing.
Don't fuck.
Pedophilia is the worst. Titties are the best.
Titties are definitely the best.
Yeah, there's something about it though, man. Just about them. It's weird because it's just like, I mean, I could do 4 hours on tits.
Bro, that's how we all ate. You know what I mean? Like, of course we're attracted to titties. That was life. Yeah,
yeah, literally, it nurtures life.
It is. You know, dude, fucking every mammal likes titties. You know what I'm saying? We're not special here.
No, there's just something about it, man. But it hits different too. Like it just, I don't know. There's something about it.
You know what's gross though? Other animals' titties.
Like,
you ever see some
what
like
animals have
orangutan titties?
Don't usually check out orangutan
Fucked up,
titties.
son. Fucked up, dude. Even a dog. You ever seen like a pregnant dog, like a dog that's nursing? Like
yeah.
It fucking.
I wouldn't consider those tits. That's more.
I mean, those are titties, bro. I mean, there's 8 of them. There's titties.
Baker's dozen of nipples is what that is. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but
Baker's dozen of 13th. What's that? The clit.
Yeah.
just one runt sucking on its mom's clit.
Oh, that's good.
Ma, this one's no milk.
Yeah. I'm not getting anything out of this. Just looking at their brothers and shit.
What the fuck's going on here?
Oh my god.
What'd you get up to for Labor Day?
What'd you say? Sorry.
What'd you get up to for Labor Day?
Labor Day. What did I do? Well, dude, I'm planning my freaking wedding. So I did like a bunch of that shit.
Oh, it's finally coming down, huh?
Got my suit, which is exciting. Dude,
Does she come from money?
What?
Does she come from money?
I was gonna make some joke about cum and where you come from.
Oh.
Yeah, we both grew up like middle class, but
don't do it, dude. Unless you're moving up the fucking ladder, it's not.
No, we've been together forever. She's great. But I ordered a suit. I went, got it measured, okay? And then it came in the mail. And dude, I don't think it would have fit, like if I had a son, I don't know, like a toddler. I don't. It was like, what the fuck is this?
They sent you somebody else, some other little boy's communion suit.
Bro, yeah, it's a little note in it. Yeah. Keep God with you.
Sorry, we thought wrong guy.
Yeah, but I knew it was gonna happen. I went, got it measured with the guy, and I'm going, "You sure this is my size, man?" I'm looking at the sleeves. He's like, "Yeah, we could take it out." And he was just rushing through with me and everything. And then at the end, he was like, "I hope you're not feeling rushed out." And I'm like, "That's all you've been doing."
That's all I feel.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know about this. And then we order it and it came and I don't even know what the heck. I couldn't even, I'm a slim guy. The pants, I barely got up over my thighs. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
They really did give you a little boy suit.
It was unbelievable. And so I brought it back and they fixed it and the new one's coming. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
When is it now exactly?
It's at the November 11th.
All right, I'll check my calendar, see if I'm free. I know I get a plus.
Yeah,
+2 maybe, depending.
We kept it. The wedding is big for us, but we kept it so small. That was like our whole plan. We're like, let's just have a.
I'm done with weddings. A good friend of mine had his second marriage. That's how old I am. All my friends went to their second wives,
nice.
And husbands, and I was like, yeah, I can't make it. I had some shows, but even if I didn't have shows, I'm like, am I going to spend $1,500, get doing all whatever the full nut is like. And yeah, I mean, they can be fun, but I've been to some. I'm fucking dude. All I preach about is not getting married. I'm not the guy. Like why? Like,
hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like unless you ask me to stand with you in the wedding, like if I'm a groomsman, I'm not going.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh fuck. Like I feel like my close friends know well enough to like, yeah, Randy doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He's gonna pass. And also, frankly, at this point, you don't want me at your wedding. My track record is blemished. Let's say.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, obviously, I walked out on my own, but I'm saying my attendance at other weddings has been the stuff of legend. So there's enough stories about me at weddings, and we don't need any more. The last one, I burst into the fucking women's bathroom and threw up. It's the thing.
Yeah, that's a little much for a wedding that someone spent $100,000 on or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a nice wedding too. Yeah. I mean, it was funny. So the bride's father found me and he thought it was funny because he's a good guy and he likes me. But yeah, I mean, in most circumstances, the bride's father doesn't like me. So thankfully I did that at the right wedding. But other than, but Jesus Christ, dude, I had one buddy. I remember. Oh my God, one of my friends, the year after he graduated, got married like a fucking idiot.
Graduated high school or college?
College, like literally like right after he graduated, he got married. Fucking, he got graduated in May, married in August. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a year older than us, so he just graduated, and he invited some of the younger guys in the fraternity. And one of my buddies, I'll just use his first name, Seth. Seth was Seth. I mean, Seth does not like these stories told about him anymore. So,
so here we go.
So he doesn't want his wife to know, but I'm sure his wife doesn't listen to this, and I'm sure he doesn't either. And how many Seths are there? I mean, I went to an Ivy League school.
Backtracking.
I went to Ivy League schools. It's fucking it's half Jewish. Everyone was named Seth. Be honest. But anyway, he we were all partying. We were all still in college. We were all partying. We were in a fraternity, having a good time. But this guy was getting married right after, but he invited a bunch of us, and he invited me, and he gave me a +1. Now, you would think I would take the girl I was dating. I didn't. I took my buddy Seth. Because he specifically didn't want Seth at the party. And Seth got, and Seth got into, I won't get into what he did, but he got removed from the county by the police.
Oh my God.
They drove him out of the place, out of the county, and told him he's not welcome. He's not welcome back.
I gotta be honest, if you told me this story a year ago, I'd be like, dude, that's hilarious. But after planning this wedding and going through it, if someone pulled that shit, I would
yeah.
Shoot him with a bazooka.
But Matt, you wouldn't be foolish enough to invite college kids to your wedding.
That's true.
I mean, that's what this kid did. That's what my buddy did. He knew we all, and it wasn't just me and Seth. There was 20 other guys there that we were seated at 2 tables in the way back, and they could have put us in the parking lot, and it would have been a fucking problem. I mean,
I know that's true.
We're all ages 20 to 22.
Yeah, that's mayhem era.
Yeah, 2/3 of us still in college, so we had nothing. Wow. We had nothing but free time to get fucked up.
That's great. Yeah. See, that I am happy I'm getting married at 30 because I feel like if I did it 20s, it would have just been absolute mayhem.
Oh well, dude, I feel like you should have to get a fucking exception to get married before the age of 30. That's you get. No one's all there at 30. I'm 30. I'm almost 40. So no one's ever done. But
oh yeah, you never fully.
But that 22, 20, like at 25, how could you possibly make a good decision? I don't know. If you make good decisions at 25, it's mostly luck.
Yeah,
it's mostly dumb luck.
I truly feel like I couldn't even start thinking clearly looking back at it now until I turned 25. I started to kind of think clearly, sort of. You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of realize how stupid you were. You're like, oh wait, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like at 25, you're like, oh wait a minute. Mr. Know-it-all doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
You kind of come to that realization.
See, I never thought I knew it all. When I turned 25, I was like, wow, I literally know nothing.
No, but you feel bulletproof. You feel like, you're like, wait a minute, these decisions, affect my life.
Affect everything.
Yeah, you can't just. I mean, at 21, there's short of going to jail for a serious felony. There's nothing you can do that's really going to, carry throughout your life. If you're making those same 21-year-old mistakes at 31, they could impact the rest of your life. At that point, you got to start figuring out all right, you have to start whittling down the things you don't like to do. You're hoping you're moving towards things that bring you, fulfillment, at that point.
Absolutely.
They're just fucking off. 22, whatever,
mm-hmm.
You can blow a year. Nobody cares. A lot of people take a year off after college or between or whatever. No one gives a fuck. And the 4 years of college, I mean, dude, those 4 years of college, you get away with murder. I mean, especially on a college campus.
Yeah.
They're giving you the protection of the university. Forget about it.
I heard some weird, I'm butchering this fact, but it's roughly accurate. I was listening to a podcast and there was some guest on and they were talking about people who own a business or like end up making $1 million or whatever.
Yep.
And 34 years old is typically when the business or whatever they're doing starts doing well. So, and that doesn't even mean they make $1 million that year, but the average person, 34 till things finally start clicking. Depending, that's if someone went to college and jobs and all this stuff, put money in, invested. Like 34 is like on the young end of finally moving in the right direction. And I put that towards comedy. And I'm like, when you look at people who aren't just a flash in the pan, they aren't just around for 5 years or whatever, just like some young dude. Most of them are like 35 and you start hearing about them 38, 40, 45. And then all of a sudden they're
more and more sad, dude.
They're still considered young though. Like Mark Normand.
Yeah.
People are saying he's on the come up. He's fucking like 39. You know what I mean? Sam Morril, I think, is 39. Joe List is like 40. And they're considered the young guys in comedy.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is that, but just what you said, I was like, yeah, my previous career started rolling right when I quit and did comedy. I'm a real fucking idiot. and right when I should be hitting it in comedy, I'm just getting started. Like, did I make some mistakes? I think I did.
Nah, you went down the right route. You're doing what you love.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know who said, there's like a famous proverb, that I don't know if it was Rumi or whoever. I could honestly, my listeners probably don't even know. Yeah, Rumi said, we'll see. Anytime something good or bad happens, we'll see.
Oh yeah, that's there's a here we go creeping into meditation and all that shit. There's a Buddha thing, I believe. It's called suppose.
Okay.
So this is also a rough idea of the story. There's a farmer, and I'm butchering the story. People definitely know this, but this is the gist of the story. There's a farmer in town, and his horse runs away. And everyone in the village comes together and goes, "This is so horrible. You don't have your horse anymore. You're not going to be able to do crops, whatever." And they're like, "This is the worst thing that could ever happen." He goes, "I suppose." The next day, the horse comes back. And they're like, "This is so great. This is the best thing that could ever happen." And he goes, "I suppose."
Yeah.
The next day, his son gets on the horse, falls off the horse, breaks his leg. They go, "This is the worst thing that can happen. This horse coming back." He goes, "I suppose." Then the next day, all the army comes to town and his son can't go to war because he broke his leg. And they're like, "This is a gift. Your son's broken leg is a gift." He goes, "I suppose." So the whole point is,
that's the same proverb. They just said, "We'll see." But yes, whoever, I guess, you said it better than I did. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen next. So you don't know, and that's the other thing. You don't know if the move you're making is the right one until, much later on. And that's the other thing too. Like, I forget who I was talking to. Maybe I think it was somebody on the podcast. So like, I remember a friend of mine in college said a long time ago, my buddy Andrew, he was like, the best decision you made is the one you already did. Like don't second guess it, because it's like, when you start doing that in your life, like, oh, what, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's like, well, at the time you didn't know what you know now. You didn't have, like, you were making a decision at the time that felt right at the time. Like,
that's great. Yeah.
And to say like, oh, like, I should have done it this way. It's like, you didn't know, like you made, at the time, you thought you were making the best decision you could be making. And if you thought you were making the best decision, then it was the right decision. How are you supposed to know, now, then what you know now? There's no way you could know that.
Exactly.
This is what I should have done. It's like, well, at the time you made the decision that seemed to make sense. And it led to this time, and yeah, if you could replay, but that's the other thing, if you could replay all the things in your life, oh, if I'd done this then I would be here. Oof, I don't know, man.
Right. You don't know.
Like, if I had been smarter with my money, maybe I would have, been in a better place of comedy. Oof, no, maybe I would have just been a real estate agent and fucking never done this. Like there's no way to know that if you'd played the cards differently, you'd be where you are in a better place. Like you might be in a completely different place.
Right. And that's a thing I think about with stand-up. I'm so happy when I was like 23 and 24, 25 and wanted to headline. I'm so happy that I didn't. I'm so happy I didn't get that opportunity. Though I was mad at the time. And I'm like, dude, I could do this. Like, I wasn't mad, but I was like, I know I can do this. Now headlining, I go, wow, I could not have done that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it didn't, because there's so much more preparation that can lead to it. And that's also like
Yeah, you know,
fame.
I'm really happy my career stinks because someday I'm gonna look back and be like, gee, I had a stink for a while.
You
No one
have
says
to.
that. No one says that. Yeah, but I mean, that's the reality. I mean, you start, you know, everyone starts somewhere.
And that's also like with fame. Like that used to be my main, not my main, but one of my big drivers. And I am like, I am so happy when I was 25, I did not become famous, because my career would probably be over right now. And I feel like things are just like, I'm just starting to, like, I just started headlining this year. Like, I
Right.
feel like I'm just starting to figure it out. So I'm like, all right, I'm 8.5 years into stand up. March will be 9 years. I'm like, I'm happy with where I am now, and I'm ready to see where this goes.
Yeah, I don't
But
even know.
it's that you got to be in the, like, it's a long game to be successful.
Yeah, I mean that's you could say the same about life. That's the thing. Like it's you know that's life. I mean, like you can't, you know, you don't know what's coming. So
Yeah.
being successful, like you can. I mean, obviously you plan and you work towards things, but shit comes up. You know, like and being successful is dealing with that. You know, like it's not.
Right.
It's like you know, incorporating that and moving forward. Like you can't avoid uh the trappings of life. I mean, shit just comes up. Things just fucking happen. You know, and the people like that's why I don't like determinism. Like, you know, like, oh, you know, everything's meant to be. No, it's not. Things happen, and it's how you fucking deal with them, and you process them, and you move forward. You're like, there's no, you know, bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people, and vice versa, and fucking, you know, and how you know they always say how you deal with it
Right.
is determines the, you know, the joy and the contentedness within your life, which, you know, and this is something I read recently, which is a little disappointing, and I wonder if you agree, because this is apparently true.
Okay.
Whether or not you are optimistic or pessimistic is largely driven by genetics. So if you're just a more pessimistic, downtrodden person, that is mostly just like hair color and eye color. It's a gene thing.
Right.
So then like so it made me think, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I mean, I spent how many tens of thousands of dollars on therapy over the years, you know, back when I had money to go, and and you know, like and all the like all the meditation and the you know the you know the self assessment and the fucking, you know, the journaling and all the shit, the working on yourself. If I am just going to be miserable, why bother? You
Right.
know,
That's
like so, but that makes me think of a Buddhist concept, like just acceptance. It's like, all right, I guess I'm just the sad guy sometimes. You know, like
right.
and if you just accept that you're going to be sad, at least you're not fighting that urge that why am I sad? Like that's one less thing you're worrying about, because you just
Right.
know you're sad and you get sad sometimes. Like in some ways, like even Buddhism is genius in that. Like, man, maybe, you know, maybe that's the right path. I don't know. You know, like I
Right.
don't know the right answer, but
Like, I think that's the thing people need to realize too, especially with social media and all that shit. Like, um, we you will be sad sometimes for days, sometimes for like a month, like,
yeah.
but that's just a part of being a human being. Like, it's unavoidable. And then so many times people start feeling that shit, and then they grab their phone to get validation or whatever, but really that's making you more fucking sad.
Yeah. Or they're going on and checking on the fucking you know, the Instagram motivator and like, oh, here's how you get out of it and blah blah. It's like, well, maybe you just let it pass. You know,
Yeah.
maybe it's
And
like
also,
maybe it's like a cold and you just give it a week and
yeah,
you'll feel like, yeah, like I don't know, you know, I don't know, like that's also a strategy. Like you know, I mean, I think it's worth trying these things that'll make you feel more fulfilled. Because if they do work, even on the margin, like I said, even if 10%, if it's 10% improvement, that's a real improvement.
right.
But at some point you do have to, like I said, I think there is like the acceptance, like, all right, sometimes I'm just in a funk. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes my life is shit and things don't break my way. You know, and I think maybe going that route might be better for me. It's like, all right, you know, this next year is going to suck. You know, and you have a sucky year. You know, like, but
Right.
it's not forever. You know, like
Exactly.
maybe that's the training I should be working on, that other people might want to try. Like, like instead of, it's like Chinese finger cuffs. Instead of like fucking trying to like, all right, I'm gonna, go to the gym and I'm gonna, do my journal and do my meditation. And I'm gonna beat this sadness. All right, well, maybe you just lean into a little bit, like, and ease your way out. It's like, all right, let me just be sad. And then one day you wake up and you realize, wait a minute, I haven't been sad for 2 days.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a cold. Like when you're sick, you just know, I can't wait till I feel better. And then when you feel better, you forget what it's like to be sick.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of, maybe it's that kind of thing.
It's two things. One is like I used to be big into going on YouTube and getting like motivation and like watching those.
Mm-hmm.
But I've realized over my life, I have this voice in my head that is constantly, whether it's anything I care about, it's keep going, going. And it's always behind me. When I get sad, it's loud and it's like, you have to just keep pushing. And I'm thankful for that. But I mean, sometimes life and everything gets so hard. It's hard to keep it going. But for me now, I've been dealing with my brain my whole life. And I've done so much shit to figure out how to be happy more often, because all that sad shit and depression and all that is still in me. Like I'm a human, but I know what I have to do now to avoid that most often. So like I have to eat healthy. And even though I hate putting the effort in, I go, you know what? I'm going to feel better than if I don't.
Yeah.
And I have to go to the gym. So I do that now. And I have to work on comedy. I have to meditate. I have to stretch. And there's like 9,000 things I have to do. And that just gets me right here. It just gets me like
to a manageable state.
So it takes, sometimes it's just, do you want to put all that work in to just feel decent? But when I do all that and I can walk up to the plate and bat, when those moments come, I feel like I can really deliver and get happier. But it takes a lot just to be at zero.
It's exhausting just to exist.
Exactly. And put that on my tombstone. I mean, that's
why I was joking with somebody a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. I was like, yeah, man, being dead sounds relaxing. Dying sounds horrible. Dying sounds like horrible.
Yeah.
But when you're just gone, it's like, oh man, it's just everything. No more problems.
Yeah.
Like the voice in your head that just won't shut the fuck up. Silent.
Yep.
You're just nothing out of him. No more fucking nagging. No more, telling me whatever it is that makes you feel less than. Like, because I don't know about you, the voice in my head's a real son of a bitch. He's a real he's a real awful human being.
Yeah.
If I knew that guy, I wouldn't introduce him to my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy I am on the outside is a much nicer guy than the guy I am inside.
If someone was like, if there was a magic pill and someone could enter my mind, I'd be like, don't take it.
I just feel bad. It's just start judging you and telling you you're not good enough.
When you say
you're a fucking loser and you have nothing going for you, it's like, oh God, this guy.
When you say being dead sounds relaxing, though, isn't it weird? At one point, we didn't exist. You don't exist twice.
Yeah.
How weird is that? Like you spend more time not existing, and then you don't.
Yeah, you spend more time not existing than existing.
Yeah, but it's weird that you don't exist twice. You know what I mean? You only exist once. You don't exist twice. Yeah, that shit is fucking weird.
It is weird that non-existence is a multiple. You're like,
yeah, you're just stopping by and you're running so fast. And you're like, how do I get happy? Oh my God, I like tits, coffee. Oh, drinking feels good. I need to do comedy. I want love. And then you die, right? And you're like, wow, that was fucking.
What was all that about?
Yeah, I feel like when you die, you go, wow, that was fucking weird. That was 80 years of just stress and confusion.
That's probably what happens after you die. It's mostly just people it's mostly just people like, what the fuck was that, right?
Yeah.
Like if that's what it is, like all of a sudden you get like if it's Disneyland, all of a sudden, all right, how was that? What the fuck? The other people around you like, what the fuck was going on? What was that?
Dude,
that's what life is like, guys. Yeah, I don't want to go back there. I want to stay wherever we're now. Like
it's two things. It's when you have to pee really bad, you finally finish and you go, oh my God. And like you have a new outlook on life. Yeah. And it's when you're having a nightmare and you wake up and you go, oh, it's just a dream. I think that's what happens when you die. You're just like, oh, that was a weird 80 years. And what the fuck was that? And then you just go on floating.
What if that's how the universe works? That every time you wake up, it's just you waking up in another version of yourself.
Holy shit. Well, I
Yeah,
believe that
you
because
know, like
every day you
it's
change.
it's very similar to the one you just left, but just a little bit different because you just woke up and you're like, all right, well now what? You're like, I mean, when you that's the weird thing about sleeping. Like, we don't really understand. I mean, we know what like the stages of it, but how you just go unconscious and time passes. Like, it's like a mini death every night. Like, how the fuck? Like, all of a sudden, you're just fucking, you're basically playing dead, and you wake up back again.
Yeah. It's so weird, dude. But
that's why dying in your sleep sounds like the best, dude. You just go to bed.
Oh, I think that's as good as life.
I mean, that's dying in your sleep is clutch. Second, dude, it's kind of a dark thing to say, but I'm gonna say it. Fuck it, it's my podcast. I thought about this. I was like, you know what? Given that I am more afraid of dying than death, I should probably kill myself, and not now. Not now.
What the fuck?
No, but it's saying like the idea that like, oh, I don't want to have like a stage 4 cancer clinging on. It's like at some point, unless I go in my sleep, I should blow my brains out because that seems like a better option than dying of cancer.
But you would know it's coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, I have whatever, Alzheimer's. It's like, all right, well, I guess once I start forgetting stuff, I'm just going to kill myself, so I don't have to go down the path of eating out of a straw. Right. That's. So it's. I'm not saying like kill myself now, like 87-year-old Randy, like, hey Randy, you have inoperable prostate cancer. All right, how much time do I have to live? 3 months. All right, I'm killing myself in 6 weeks. Like that kind of a thing, like a preemptive.
Randy, I think you should see someone. I can't get on board with this.
Like, I don't want to fight it. Yeah, let's just go.
I don't know, man.
I can make a big show about it, dude. I can do, like a last stand-up show, and then the very last thing is blow my brains out on stage.
Like Nick Swartz, who fucking farted? You ever see that? His like first special, he said that if he ever killed himself, he'd just like take a t-shirt gun and blast his head off. But the last thing he'd say was, "Who fucking farted?" and just go. And like, oh my god, who farted? That guy killed himself. But dude, if I don't die, like I know it's happened.
Well, you're going to.
If I don't, yeah.
I try to bring it to you, Maddie. If I don't die, well, you're gonna. But
if I don't die sleeping, I would like to die on stage. Like, I know it'd be scarring for the amount of people there.
Oh, I've talked.
If I'm like 95 and just fucking, and then my ass turned to jizz and everyone laughs and I just die.
Yeah, there was always something romantic to me about that with my fucking deity right there, George Carlin. I think he like died in a hotel room on the road. Like he was like doing gigs, like,
right.
I was like, yeah, that's, I mean, like the road's fun. Why wouldn't it be better dying out there than, fucking like I said, hooked up the tubes in a hospital in Los Angeles or New York or wherever I'm living at the time. Like, like I'd rather be doing what it's like those fucking rock climbers that say, I'd rather die falling off a rock than, of a heart attack as an accountant. Like, all right.
Yeah.
There is something a little romantic about that.
Yeah.
It's
I don't. If I die in a hotel on the road, I want it to be at the point where it's a Four Seasons, though. I don't want. I want to go out with a fucking.
Oh, I'm dying in a Motel 6 with a hooker and a kilo.
And I believe you.
like Rodney Dangerfield. No.
Yeah.
Well, he was a famous drug user. I don't know if he died that way, but
Rodney. Talk about a legend.
Oh, dude. I gotta listen to some of his old stuff. Dude, I'll tell you something. I gotta get this off my chest. You
just take your shirt off. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, all right, dude. Don't make it weird, right? Start squeezing my nipple on there. No, because I saw some crazy shit. So I went up to Idaho this weekend, northern Idaho, like the Idaho-Montana border, to camp and backpack, do outdoorsy shit. I like doing that stuff. And I went with some locals. And that's why I'm a little scruffy. Got the hat on. I gotta need a haircut. But it was fun, beautiful up there, gorgeous. But these mountain people are a little fucking weird.
Right. Well,
like these local people. I don't know. Like all right. Give you an example. So one of the couple, there was a elderly couple, probably in the mid 60s, that I don't want to get too personal in my personal life, but they're friends of friends, let's say, and they had a camper. And look, it was a Jamboree 1986. that they bought for $700, but it was running. It was cool. And I hear fucking squawking coming out of there. I'm like, is that a bird in the tree? He's like, no, that's our bird. What do you mean you got a bird? So I go in the camper. Go in the camper. They got a caged bird, like a little, like a parakeet, like a little blue and green thing. Fucking, but that thing was howling loud. And
a bird. If you got a bird, I'm sorry.
Dude, they drove like deep into the wilderness, and they brought a bird in a cage in their camper. And the guy goes to me, he's like, "Yeah, I bet you never see not many people bring a bird camping." It's like, "Nah, man, that's definitely a first." And my friend who brought me up kicked me. Said, "The fuck? What?" He asked if I'd ever seen that. No.
Yeah.
So we get out of the camper, and I'm joking. I'm like, you know how fucking torturous that is, dude, to bring a bird out to the wilderness and keep it locked in a cage.
Yeah. What the? If this story doesn't end with you dying somehow, I don't get that.
No, but
how did they not kill you?
Yeah, for making these comments. But
for having a bird.
Oh, mean killing them. That they're kind of axe murder.
No, if you own a bird
and you come
and then you bring it to the woods, the next thing is then you killed somebody.
Yeah, you're kind of an axe murderer.
Yeah. That's obvious.
But I'm like, you bring a dog out to the woods camping and you can run around, but the bird, you can't let it, it's not fucking coming back if you let it out. So it's kind of like bringing a prisoner out to like real life, like see what you can have out here and then put him back. Dude, that'd be like bringing a bowl, like a fish bowl with a fish in it to the ocean. It's like, see, you'll never get this.
That's what could have been.
Yeah,
the fish just starts crying.
This is what freedom looks like, you piece of shit. Get back in the van.
Yeah. See, we're animal rights activists here on Ready, Set, Blow.
Exactly. And then they started going on we were sitting around the campfire. They were going on raving about the fucking Geo Metro. Like, it's a good car. I'm like, that thing's a piece of shit.
But it rides well. Gets me from A to B.
Yeah, it gets me A to B. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, like, don't brag about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't brag about my Honda Civic. It's a steady car. Like, I get it. Like for $800, you get this piece of shit that'll get you from point A to point B. But I told him, I was like, bragging about that's fucking crazy. It's like bragging about having a 4 as a wife. It's she can have a lot of babies. Yeah, she's built like a fucking horse.
She gets me from A to B though.
I told him, I was like, I've never seen a Geo Metro that didn't have at least one of the tires be the donut, the spare. I'm pretty sure when you drive it off the lot, one of the tires, like if you buy a brand new,
it just blows out.
It just comes with a spare in one of the tires. It has to.
That's hilarious.
Then they were going on, dude. Then they were going on and on about fucking. They were talking about one of their neighbors who's apparently like a paranoid person. They live in rural Idaho, fucking rural Idaho. The kind of place you need a prop plane to get to.
Yeah, the kind of place where you have pet birds.
Yeah, exotic pet birds.
Yeah,
they're like, one of our neighbors, man, he's fucking guy's paranoid. He put up 12 cameras around his house. Like, and these are I'll say this: the people that I was with in Idaho are, for the most part, liberals. They're like hippies who just wanted to like live in communes up there. So they're not the the hard right militia. It's like the guy goes, why would you want to have 12 cameras around your house? What would possess you to do that? And I go, I don't know, Ruby Ridge in 1991. And then there was like 10 other people there. The place fell silent, like around the campfire, not a word was said. So apparently, I figured out the hard way that Ruby Ridge, that siege at Ruby Ridge where Randy Weaver, locked himself in his house and got some of his family killed and fired back at some federal officers. That's like mountain people's 9/11. Like you do not talk about that in polite company.
Yeah, because that is their they are in nowhere.
Yeah, I mean that's like their Waco. Like you can't. They got real tight. They got tight as a drum when I brought it up.
I like to think that it just went silent, but then you just hear the bird going like, burp.
Yeah.
Like the bird's trying to
the bird was loud. The bird was screaming.
I can't get over this bird. That is so wild to me.
That's the other thing too. Think about how fucked up that is. Like you go when you go to a campsite in rural Idaho, you're trying to get away from people. Let's think about these mountain folks. They don't want to be around other people. So like you want.
Does anybody though?
Good point. The campsites are quiet. It's kind of like a library. Everything's hushed tones. You don't want to. Because you want to be out in nature and wilderness. You don't want to hear fucking rap music next a quarter mile away from your camp. But these people brought a giant camper, like a giant 1986 camper van, and they brought a howling bird, African parakeet. It was It sounded like a banshee. Like, I don't want to scream into the mic because I'm gonna fucking blow out my focus right trying to make this noise, dude. It was like 10 times louder than a kid crying on an airplane, but sharper. Like
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. It was like it was worse than a fucking than a rooster like crowing in the morning. But so like, at the campsite, everything's quiet, just rah, rah, fucking in the middle of the night. People are like, what the fuck? And I'm sure they like because it's coming from in the camper and we're in the woods. They're like, must be just some crazy fucking screech owl nearby. Like, but they've been pissing off everyone in the camp with their exotic bird that they brought down.
That is wild. But yeah, everyone probably thought it was just in the trees.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Can you just leave a bird? Is it like a cat? Can you put some food out and just leave it for a couple of days? I have no fucking idea what the maintenance is on a bird.
I don't know. The only people I knew with birds growing up also had like 15 dogs, 18 cats, a rabbit. Like it was always, they had snakes and shit for some reason. Like that person that has a bird has an iguana for some reason.
Yes. You know? Yeah. There's cat people, there's dog people, and then there's these assholes who any animal.
Yeah, it's just a plethora of nature.
Yeah. Oh, I got a guinea pig and a ferret and a peacock and a goat. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What are you opening a fucking petting zoo? Your house must smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you own more than 2 animals, your house smells like shit.
Yeah, unless if you have like a mansion. Even then, don't do that.
Dude, that's the secret thing about mansion. The little pieces of shit turn up in the mansion because the mansion's so big. There's so many corners. Dude, I had a buddy back in Boston. I won't mention his name. Fucking
buddy back in Boston.
Big money, dude. Billions of dollars. Family started a huge company, like one of the biggest employers in the state of Massachusetts. I won't say the name.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he's the grandson of the founder, so he's got that nice money, that mailbox money. You know, like he just gets, several thousands of dollars a month in the mailbox for just sitting there. But good kid, great guy.
Rather earn it.
But we got drunk at his parents went away. Like his parents went on their yacht to go cruise, and
what a sentence!
I swear to God, dude, like a fucking 100 and some foot yacht to go cruising in like in Croatia or some shit in the Mediterranean. And so he had a bunch of people over his house to watch like a Patriots playoff game, and his brother, who was still in high school, because this kid's was in his mid-20s, and he had a younger brother who was senior in high school. He brought some of his friends over thinking that he was going to do the same thing, and they kind of accidentally ran into each other. But his brother got trashed, and like downstairs they have like, a game room, and he just like threw up into the corner of the game room by the pinball machine. And, everyone just walked away. He's like, oh yeah, the maid will get that. And I'm like,
that's fucked up.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, but yeah, the maid will get it because they have a cleaning lady that comes around, every day, whatever. But I'm like, is she gonna know there's vomit in the corner of that room?
Right.
And sure enough, I come back a week later and there's just a fucking puke stain in the corner. I'm like,
that's
man, horrendous. You gotta tell. You can't just hide puke in your own.
No, and it will smell so bad.
If you got a lot of dogs in a big mansion, there's gonna be hidden shit, like Easter eggs and shit around the house.
Yeah, but puke also just smells horrendous, man. I can't even imagine. Also, if I was a fucking trillionaire, if I raised a person that wouldn't pick up their puke and said, I will leave it for the cleaners, I'd be so disappointed.
Yeah. You're a bad parent.
Yeah, pick up your fucking puke.
Says a lot about you as a human being, as a parent. Someone was fucking, they like to make that comment, some rich people. It's my favorite. It's like, poor people need to just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Nothing motivates you more like needing to succeed. It's like, oh, really? Then why do you leave $1 billion to your fucking lazy ass near-to-well kids?
Right, exactly.
Like, if you believe that, then don't leave them a fucking nickel.
Have them run out there and get going, baby.
No, but dude, even more importantly, they've already got a great start because they grew up rich.
Right. Exactly.
If they become poor after they graduate from college, they still had 22 years of being rich.
Yeah.
So they got a pretty good head start. So don't give me this shit about like, oh, needing to survive is a real good drive. Man, fuck you.
Yeah. By the way, if someone ever said that to me, I think I would actually commit a murder and go to jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Surviving is not living. Dude, I thought I was a genius.
Woo!
I thought I was a genius the other day in the car. I was like, I was high as shit driving for Ubers early in the morning. And that's when I have some of my weird thoughts. I'm listening to fucking whatever podcast, and I was like, oh man, it was maybe like some AI shit. I was like, suffering is the only real way that you know you're alive, you know? And I was about to tweet it and I like, let me Google this. And sure enough, some fucking philosopher from 3,000 years ago is like, to live is to suffer, and to survive is to find meaning in the suffering. And I'm like, yeah, I have no original thoughts. It's like, oh man, I'm onto something here. The only way you know that your life is real is because you suffer. Like, because if there was no suffering in life, then obviously it's a simulation, or it's not right. It's a dream. It's not real. It's suffering defines the fact that you're living in reality. And I was like, oh man, what a fuck. I thought I was like, I'm gonna fucking break the internet with this tweet.
Yeah.
And I Googled it, and sure enough, I'm like, oh yeah, some guy since before fire already thought of that. Like,
yeah.
Like, is there any original thought anymore? Is there any original thought?
Yeah, that's like Johnny Cash when he sings the Nine Inch Nails song "Hurt," and he says he focuses on the pain, the only thing that's real. Yeah, that's him. Oh, bro, I don't know how. Are you smoking weed right now?
Yeah, always.
Okay. I tried weed.
You tried weed?
The first time in my life.
Like an amateur. How'd you like
it?
What was
nothing happened. So I'm having trouble drinking. I'm like
trouble.
I just am exhausted when I do it. Like drinking my whole life, very enjoyable, fun. I'd get a little energy. You get a little loose. It slowly had just started going away. I don't know what happened. And I can't have IPAs anymore. That is like, there's no shot. Dude, that's all I drank.
You're not even 40 years old yet.
I know.
Drinking.
I don't know what happened. Like, I cannot have an IPA. I just have a headache for 3 days. I'm like, what is going on? Like literally, it just started one day. So I switched over to tequila and all that shit. But which ironically is me like doing better.
Yeah, dude, I made that switch in my 20s over to the scotches and then the whiskeys and the vodka and then back to whiskey. Yeah.
I'll drink like a scotch or a tequila or whatever, but a beer, whatever. So
who'd you get high with? Where'd you get the weed? Was it
so? I'm like, all right, I gotta find something else. Our buddy Dan Bolger has a great line.
Okay.
He had. I'm going to butcher his joke because I'm not going to tell the full thing. Basically, he finds out he has diabetes and can't drink.
Yep.
And he says that he's going to smoke weed because he's not just going to live. And I think that is the fucking best line of all time. So
very, very funny guy.
I am like, what the fuck, And so I was like, you know what? I want to do shrooms. I feel like I should try weed first. I'm sick of drinking.
Yep.
And I went and bought edibles. Because I don't want to.
You started there.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. So everyone's freaking out. They're like, you can't start with an edible. And I went and I like talked to the lady, and she's like, well, what do you usually do? Because I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
Talk to the nice lady at the desk.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is what I know. Like kids used to have to do like drug deals and shit. My first time, I'm like, I want to feel a little excited. Like what I mean. So. I'm like, I don't know. I want to feel like energy, creativity, like all that. I don't want to feel sleepy. And she's like, okay, here. And she suggested these edibles. She's like, what do you usually have? I said, oh, this is my first time. She's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, you want to start with an edible? She's like, you really don't want to smoke. And I was like, no. So she goes, here, take this edible. She said, have half of it. And then she's like, have a quarter of it. She's like, literally bite the corner and see how you feel. Okay. And they're fast acting. It's supposed to happen in 30 minutes. All right. So I eat the corner, feel nothing, 30 minutes. I eat half of it. And I'm like, is this going to be one of those typical situations where people feel nothing and then all of a sudden they're breathing in the corner, calling an ambulance, Went the whole night, ate the edible, felt nothing, zero.
Yeah, it takes a long time, dude. And if you only eat 5 milligrams and you weigh 150 pounds, you might not feel anything.
So then the next night I was like, I'm going to eat it all at once. Popped it right in my mouth, bro. Nothing again. So I've tried it twice, felt nothing.
How many milligrams is each piece?
It's 5 milligrams.
All right. Try 3 of them.
Okay. No, but I might try 2.
No. Yeah. All right. Try 2. But what I'm saying, you need to just up the dose.
Yeah.
It takes longer than people think. It takes like an hour to feel these fucking things.
Right.
And the high is completely different than smoking it. It really it's just a complete different high in my experience. I've taken up to 200 milligrams of edibles. I don't, I wouldn't recommend it for a fucking layperson. But after a certain amount of milligrams, like after 40 milligrams, I just fall asleep. Like so.
Yeah.
So for what affects, that's how it just works for me. And when you smoke it, you can regulate it. You can take one hit, and be like, all right, maybe get a vape pen if you don't want to smoke. You do that.
Yeah. I feel like vaping's worth. I would rather smoke a joint than vape.
Yeah, I would too, because the vaping is not. It's a different weird chemical high. You want to just take a hit of a joint.
So,
but also, if you want to do mushrooms, there's no gateway drug to mushrooms. Smoking weed doesn't prepare you for mushrooms. Nothing prepares you for mushrooms. But mushrooms is always the best thing you could be doing. I mean, like, if anyone ever offers me mushrooms, I'm taking them. I'm saying it right on the air, because every time I travel to town, please give me free mushrooms. It's just always better. It's never made me worse a person to do mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's never fucked up my life. It's always helped. You know what I'm saying? It's the only thing I've ever done that's always been. I've been better for having done it. I can't even say that for weed, because a lot of times with weed, it's just maintenance smoking. Like I got a long day of driving for Uber. Fuck it, I'll get let me get high, and I probably shouldn't say that, but let me get high and go drive. But if I'm taking a long flight, it's like, oh, let me smoke a bunch of weed so I can sit down, listen to a podcast, knock out. It's not like it's like every time I do mushrooms, like I'm leveling up as a person. It's making me more in tune with who I am. I smoke weed, so sometimes just me relaxing. Obviously with drinking, it's way more harmful than both of those things. I mean, you can't drive a car, you get in fights with people, you fucking, you say things you wish you hadn't said. No one's ever
right. Yeah, that's true. Like, I was thinking
they're too stoned,
that I was thinking that, like, in a movie, if there's a scene and someone's hammered, they like come in, they ruin the party, and they're like, screw you, they get in a fight they regret. And that's from drinking, and you could just go do that anywhere. But like weed, if you ever see like the ultimate version of that, someone's just like, what's up? Just whatever. Like super stoned and laughing.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Cat Williams' whole joke about it. He's like, weed has that fuck it in it. You just say, fuck it. Yeah. I gotta go to work today. Fuck it. My girl's being a pain in the ass. Fuck it. You just put it away for a little while.
Yeah.
The mushrooms make you deal with stuff, but in a fun way. Like, it's very euphoric, and I've preached about it to anyone who will fucking listen. I can't recommend them enough. Obviously, there's some people that have legitimate family histories of psychosis that might not want to try it.
Right.
Because you can't have a fucking psychotic break, but most people, it's going to make you a better person. Flat out.
Yeah. And I'll try it at some point. Also, I hate to be this guy. I'm going to have to be done in a couple minutes.
Let's wrap her up. I had news. We don't even have to get to it, dude. We did an hour, fucking 15 minutes. Easy.
Yeah, it was great. We didn't even finish we'll have to catch up too separately from this.
Because... I'll have you on again. I'll if you ever come out here, obviously have you in person. If you ever want to come back out and visit,
that's what I want to catch up with you. I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be coming out. Nice.
Stuff, yeah.
So we'll work that out. But I'll have you on sooner than I think it's been like 5 months. I'll have you on sooner than that.
Damn.
I need those little check-ins. They're fun, and it also saves me fucking a few $100 going to the goddamn studio.
Yeah,
I gotta start charging these listeners. You motherfuckers need to start kicking into this shit.
Well, I appreciate you having me as always, man.
Yeah, you got anything coming up? You know, it's coming out. It's coming out in 2 hours.
It's coming out in 2 hours. I just got a bunch. Just Matthew P. Brown on TikTok. Matt P. Brown on Instagram, and all my shit's there.
All right. Obviously, you can follow me at Randy Valero. Follow the podcast at Ready Set Blow on Instagram. Working on some new logos and shit, Matt. They're gonna be fun.
Nice.
I got a real professional doing them.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it's taking a little while because I've been busy. She's been busy, and she's doing it pro bono, which is nice. We got that. What else I got coming up? I'll be in Dallas the 22nd, 23rd of September, and I'll be at the Big Pine Comedy Festival in San Diego.
Nice.
October 21st through 23rd. But just go to bigpinecomedyfestival.com and get tickets to that. That's it. So follow, rate, review, fucking tell your friends about this goddamn show. Matt, I love you, bud. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate you coming on late in the week. Save my fucking bacon, brother.
Anytime, honestly.
Love you, kid. We're out.
Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.